My name is Hamse Daabjeerin, and you are watching the Security Update. These are the stories making the headlines in this episode. Armed militia plunder Somalia's embassy in Sudan. William Ruto promises to initiate direct talks between Sudanese warring factions to resolve crisis. Somalia president holds high-level meeting on security transition with AU officials. Welcome to the program. The Somali embassy in Sudan fell victim to a looting incident orchestrated by an armed militia, as confirmed by a statement issued by Mohammed Sheikh Isaac, the Somali ambassador to Sudan. The Somali embassy in Sudan fell victim to a looting incident orchestrated by an armed militia, as confirmed by a statement issued by Mohammed Sheikh Isaac, the Somali ambassador to Sudan. Against the backdrop of civil war and lawlessness in Sudan, Ambassador Isaac condemned the occurrence as a barbaric act that targeted his residence in Khartoum and resulted in the seizure of vehicles belonging to the Somalia embassy. He emphasized that the armed militia responsible for this violation demonstrated a blatant disregard for international norms and the inviolability of diplomatic institutions. Expressing deep concern for the safety and security of diplomatic personnel and institutions within Sudan, Ambassador Isaac called for immediate action to reinstate order and safeguard diplomatic missions. The volatile situation prevailing in Sudan exacerbates the challenges faced by the country as it grapples with persistent conflict and instability. The international community has expressed apprehension regarding the deteriorating conditions and has appealed for an end to the violence. Kenya's President William Ruto has pledged to initiate a face-to-face meeting between Sudanese warring generals in order to bring an end to the ongoing crisis that has blocked the country.
We need to tell those generals to stop the nonsense.
Despite multiple attempts at implementing ceasefires, the conflict in Sudan has persisted, prompting President Ruto to take proactive measures as announced by the Kenyan presidency. Since mid-April, violent clashes have engulfed the Northeast African nation following a rift between Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, who leads the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF). Despite the signing of several truces, they have repeatedly been violated, leading to a deteriorating situation on the ground. On Saturday, Saudi and US mediators who have been involved in peace negotiations issued a stern warning that they might suspend their mediation efforts if a 24-hour ceasefire was not upheld. The international community has been striving to broker a peaceful resolution to the conflict, but the persistent breakdown of ceasefires has posed significant challenges in the war-torn North African country.
Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud convened a high-level meeting at Villa Somalia with Ambassador Mohamed Al-Amin, the African Union Special Representative and head of the AU Technical Assistance Mission in Somalia, to engage in comprehensive discussions pertaining to security matters, particularly focusing on the planned transition process and timeline for ATMIS. Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud convened a high-level meeting at Villa Somalia with Ambassador Mohamed Al-Amin, the African Union Special Representative and head of the AU Technical Assistance Mission in Somalia, to engage in comprehensive discussions pertaining to security matters, particularly focusing on the planned transition process and timeline for ATMIS. During the meeting, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud reaffirmed the unwavering dedication of the Somali government to the Somalia Transition Plan. This plan aims to facilitate the transfer of security responsibilities from the African Union forces to the Somali National Army. Notably, this high-level discussion provided an opportunity for all parties to review the progress made thus far and to address any pertinent concerns. In attendance were members of the African Union Military Staff Committee delegation who are presently visiting Somalia. On Saturday, these delegates engaged in fruitful discussions with representatives from the ATMIS mission, the federal government of Somalia, and the United Nations. They were provided with a comprehensive briefing on the ongoing drawdown process, which involves the gradual reduction of 2,000 ATMIS troops This process is overseen by the Tripartite Technical Committee, comprising officials from the federal government of Somalia, ATMIS, and the United Nations Support Office in Somalia. Ambassador Mohammed Al-Amin, as the head of ATMIS, and Ambassador Abdikatir Mohammed Noor, Somalia's Minister of Defense, expressed their satisfaction with the preparations made for the drawdown. They both reiterated the federal government's unwavering commitment to assume full responsibility for security operations in Somalia. This commitment underscores the government's determination to strengthen its own institutions and ensure the long-term stability and prosperity of the nation. Somalia's police force has officially reported on the recent siege conducted by Al-Shabaab at the Pearl Beach Hotel in Mogadishu. After an intense operation spanning 7 hours, the security forces successfully brought the situation to an end, effectively neutralizing the threat. Somalia's police force has officially reported on the recent siege conducted by Al-Shabaab at the Pearl Beach Hotel in Mogadishu. After an intense operation spanning 7 hours, the security forces successfully brought the situation to an end, effectively neutralizing the threat. The incident resulted in the loss of 9 lives, including 6 civilians and 3 security personnel. 10 individuals sustained injuries during the attack, as detailed in the official statement released by the Somali police. Amidst the chaos, the police were able to rescue 84 civilians who were trapped inside the hotel during the assault. This operation was carried out in response to the actions of 7 Al-Shabaab fighters who launched the attack. The responsibility for this assault has been claimed by Al-Shabaab, which has links to Al-Qaeda. This group has persistently waged an insurgency against the Somali government for over 15 years. Although their control over urban areas has diminished significantly, they continue to exert influence in rural regions, prompting them to perpetrate attacks targeting security forces as well as innocent civilians. A Somali intelligence officer fell victim to a devastating explosion caused by an improvised explosive device that had been cunningly attached to his vehicle in Marka town of Lower Shabelle region. The incident resulted in the loss of the officer's life, while 3 of his accompanying security guards sustained injuries. But we will be back after the short break.
Making documentaries is one of the most creative craft and challenging endeavors you can be involved in. It is an effective strategy to inform, persuade, educate, defend the perspective, and shed light on various issues, policies, and activities. At CBA TV, documentary production is our forte. We capture every TikTok detail of events in highest resolution to tell the story you care about, from politics to human angle, research-based content, educative and informative. We also help you project your story in a dynamic perspective that attracts the world views of the target audience, as there is no better or more powerful way to place the organization's values and achievements than to make an excellent documentary film. No doubt, our strength lies in these ventures, and we pride in many award-winning documentaries which have been earning accolades across Africa and beyond. Let's tell your story.
Welcome back again. A Somali intelligence officer fell victim to a devastating explosion caused by an improvised explosive device that had been cunningly attached to his vehicle in Marka town of Lower Shabelle region. The incident resulted in the loss of the officer's life, while 3 of his accompanying security guards sustained injuries.
A Somalia intelligence officer fell victim to a devastating explosion caused by an improvised explosive device IED that has been cunningly attached to his vehicle in Merka town of Lower Shabelle region. The incident resulted in the loss of the officer's life, while 3 of his accompanying security guards sustained injuries. The deceased officer has been identified as Hassan Osman Ali Botale, widely recognized as Commander Kush Gali. Notably, he is the brother of Muhammad Usman Ali Yariso, the former commissioner of Merka district. At present, no organization or individual has claimed responsibility for this appalling attack. However, Al-Shabaab frequently assumes responsibility for similar assaults targeting the country's government security forces. The district commissioner noted His brother was on the list of wanted people by Al-Shabaab for a long time. Nevertheless, an immediate response was initiated in the form of comprehensive security operations across the district, aiming to apprehend any potential suspect associated with this crime.
In a recent joint operation led by Somalia's National Intelligence and Security Agency in the Lower Shabelle region, a number of Al-Shabaab members, specifically at least 19, were killed. The operation, carried out with the assistance of international partners collaborating with Somalia on security matters, targeted the Pula Muhammad Abdullah village on the outskirts of Audigle. In a recent joint operation led by Somalia's National Intelligence and Security Agency in the Lower Shabelle region, a number of Al-Shabaab members, specifically at least 19, were killed. The operation, carried out with the assistance of international partners collaborating with Somalia on security matters, targeted the Pula Muhammad Abdullah village on the outskirts of Audigle. Officials have confirmed the destruction of Al-Shabaab's vehicles and weapons during the operation in Lower Shabelle region, which had experienced a grave attack by Al-Shabaab on an African Union Transition Mission Forces base just last month. The Somali National Army has been engaged in an ongoing battle against Al-Shabaab since President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's re-election in May of the previous year. President Hassan Sheikh had unequivocally declared a total war on Al-Shabaab. Subsequently, the Somali National Army claimed to have made significant progress in liberating substantial areas in the south and central provinces of the country, notably the strategic coastal town of Haradere, which had been under Al-Shabaab's control for more than a decade. A devastating incident occurred in Murale village of Somalia's Lower Shabelle region, resulting in the loss of approximately 27 lives, predominantly children, and leaving 53 individuals injured, as reported by the official news agency of the country. A devastating incident occurred in Murale village of Somalia's Lower Shabelle region, resulting in the loss of approximately 27 lives, predominantly children, and leaving 53 individuals injured, as reported by the official news agency of the country. According to regional authorities, the calamity unfolded when children were engaged in recreational activities involving a dormant mortar shell, which unexpectedly detonated. 20 children perished instantaneously. Local residents disclosed to the media that such unexploded shells, similar to the one the children were handling, have been remnants of armed conflicts waged by various factions within the country. Murale, the village directly affected by this incident, lies between Koryole and Chanale and remains under the control of Al-Shabaab. Authorities emphasize the need for Al-Shabaab to be held accountable for this reprehensible act. This occurrence is not an isolated event, as Somali children have regrettably lost their lives in similar incidents in the past. The country has endured numerous conflicts over the past decades, and the lingering presence of unexploded ordnance poses an ongoing threat to the population. And with that devastating incident occurred in Murale village of Somalia, Lower Shabelle region, resulting in the loss of approximately 27 lives, predominantly children, and leaving 53 individuals injured, we'll wrap up our program for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. This is me, Hamse Daabjeerin.